Last time around, my roommate found out that Evan picked up the cigarette but I'd thrown away. I chose to ignore it, to not defend him. Because of that, he, already poor, was ostracized and pushed aside. But years later, when my scumbag ex and his new partner had me killed, Evan was the one who gave up his future to get revenge for me. Afterward, he set fire to the mansion he'd worked so hard for, dying with me. This time, I got to him before my roommate did. I watched as he tucked the cigarette butt into his pocket again. I smiled at him. How come you only pick up my trash, and not me? Standing at my dorm room door again, I realized I was back. In my past life, this was the moment. I went out after a smoke on the balcony, and when I came back, I heard that Evan had picked up the cigarette I'd stubbed out. Back then, I ignored it, never thinking it would get him labeled a creep, ostracized, and bullied. I heard my roommates talking around the corner of the stairwell. With no time to think, I swiped my card and opened the door before they got there. Sure enough, Evan was on the balcony, holding a tissue, carefully wrapping up my cigarette butt, about to tuck it into his pocket. Our eyes met. He froze, completely stiff, clearly not expecting me to double back. Evan didn't know whether to hide his hands or not. The footsteps outside were getting closer. I didn't have time to talk. In 3 quick steps, I grabbed his hand and pulled him into the bathroom to hide. The moment I locked the door, my roommate walked in. Through the door, Evan's eyes were wide. He'd clearly been scared out of his wits and hadn't recovered yet. I got a good look at him up close and realized he was actually very handsome. Evan was a bit taller than me, just a little thin, with fair skin and a high nose bridge. Maybe because he was so withdrawn and didn't really socialize, no one ever paid much attention to his looks, which is why he seemed to fly under the radar. "Who's in there?" Evan's breath hitched. I winked at him and leaned in close as I reached for the light switch, catching a scent on him. Probably came from some cheap laundry detergent. But it wasn't an unpleasant smell. On the contrary, it kind of made my heart flutter. Seeing the tips of his ears turn bright red, I finally answered my roommate outside. "It's me." "Oh, Leo, what are you doing?" I turned on the faucet, but I forgot to adjust the shower head, and it almost soaked both of us. Water splashed on his face, but he didn't make a sound. I let out a laugh before answering. "Taking a shower." My roommate complained. "Showering in the middle of the day? You rich kids are so extra." "Well, Ian and I are heading to the food court again. Do you need us to bring anything back for you, Your Highness?" "Nope, I'm good, thanks," I said. We waited until we heard the door close again and the 2 sets of footsteps faded away. Evan finally let out a sigh of relief. My own heart settled back into my chest. My past life should be completely in the past now, with no more repeats. I turned off the shower and pushed Evan against the wall. He looked down at me, his helpless expression making him look like some innocent boy being harassed. I played dumb. "Were you just picking up my stuff?" He froze for a second and opened his mouth, probably wanting to explain. But with his communication skills, he couldn't cook up a convincing lie. He just stayed silent. After a long moment, he said, "I'm sorry. What good is an apology?" He hung his head. For a moment, Evan's face fell. He seemed incredibly sad. But he made his decision. "If you think I'm disgusting, I can ask the RA to move me to another room." His voice was barely a whisper. His reaction made me laugh, and I raised my hand, placing my palm flat against his chest. Evan looked at me in disbelief, then at the hand on his chest, his gaze flickering back and forth like a fool. The skin under my palm was scorching, almost hot enough to make me pull away. "Your heart is racing," I said. He froze, and a blush instantly spread from his neck to his face. With how shy he was, he'd probably never confess in his next life either, so I just laid it all out. "You like me?" His heartbeat clearly sped up, pounding so hard it felt like something was about to burst out of his chest. "Say it," I pushed. Evan closed his eyes and nodded, obediently waiting for the verdict. "Yeah, I do." "For real, or are you just saying that?" Of course, I knew it was real. If he wasn't crazy about me, he wouldn't have given up his future to avenge me and then follow me in death. But I have a mean streak. I especially enjoy the thrill just before I get what I want. Evan stammered, "F for real." "Really?" "Yes." Then how come you only pick up my trash, and not me? I asked. He looked up, a stunned expression on his face. I kept my eyes locked on him, determined to get an answer. Seeing that I wasn't going to back down, he finally spoke. You have a boyfriend. So if I didn't have a boyfriend, you'd ask me out? Evan's eyes lit up. Could I try? I didn't say yes or no, just told him we broke up last week. I'm single. My scumbag ex was a total drama king, always threatening to break up every time we argued. And I, like an idiot, fell for it every time in my past life. I'd always be the one sending him money, buying him gifts and sweet-talking him back. Turns out he was using my money to hire male models. I can't stand betrayal, so naturally, I broke up with him. I didn't even ask for the gifts back, just the money I'd transferred. But he was afraid I'd sue, so he had someone tamper with my car beforehand. And so that's how I, the ultimate sucker, ended up crashing through a guardrail and flying off a cliff in my past life. The lingering fear subsided. I looked into Evan's eyes and told him seriously, if you want to win me over, you can't be secretly picking up my stuff anymore. Evan nodded. I moved my hand from his chest, casually slipping it under the hem of his hoodie and giving his stomach a squeeze. I grinned. Nice abs. He let out a little ah, and looked completely flustered, which was kind of dorky. Evan started walking all stiff and awkward, which was surprisingly cute. How was he going to handle things later if he got this flustered from just us talking? I walked behind him, smiling openly. Because I had grabbed him in such a hurry, the tissue-wrapped cigarette but was still sitting out there in the ashtray on the windowsill. Evan glanced outside, not ready to give up on it. I had to go get it right in front of him and toss it into the bathroom trash. Don't you dare pick it up, I warned. He nodded, restraining himself. Okay. I glanced at his desk and noticed an open notebook. His handwriting was surprisingly wild. The strokes were strong and forceful, a complete contrast to his personality. If I remembered correctly, one of the pages in that notebook should have my name written on it over and over again. I pointed to his desk, signaling for him to hide the notebook. He didn't know how I found out, but he still blushed as he put it away in a drawer. Once he was done, I relaxed and asked him, I'm going out for drinks with a friend. Want to come? Huh? His brain must have short-circuited. I said, do you want to come with me? Evan's eyes were very dark. When he stared straight at me, it inexplicably made my heart pound. He finally shook his head. No, I won't go. You have fun. I held out my hand to him. Then give me your phone. He hesitated for a long time before finally unlocking it and handing it to me. The wallpaper was a photo I had posted on social media, but he had blurred it, probably so no one would recognize me. My little scheme had paid off. A smile crept onto my face as I opened his contacts and typed in my own number. You can reach me anytime. The moment I sat down, I noticed the funny look on my best friend Ben's face. What's up with you? Ben looked serious. Leo, this is the last time I'm going to warn you. About what? You were so mysterious asking me to meet you here. You need to break up with Felix, Ben said. His words brought back old memories. I remembered him saying the same thing in my past life. Back then, my head wasn't screwed on straight, and I told him I had my own plans. When Ben saw I wasn't willing to listen, he dropped it, just telling me to be careful with Felix. Of course, I didn't take it to heart, and Ben and I grew more and more distant after that. Thinking back now, I really want to slap my past self a couple of times. What plans? I had no freaking plans. I was being played like a fool. That stupid relationship had turned my brain to mush. Tell me. Seeing that I wasn't so resistant this time, Ben pulled up a video on his phone. I was holding my glass so tight I almost shattered it. In the video, Felix was draped all over some guy, his legs wrapped around the man's waist. They were kissing so intensely that the collar of his loose shirt had slipped down his arm. They were one step away from finding a bed right there in public. My face darkened. In my past life, I was with that snake Felix for 3 years. I can't believe he was cheating on me this early on. When was this? 10 days ago. Right here in this bar. When you get angry enough, you can't help but laugh. 10 days ago, we hadn't even broken up yet. I closed my eyes, leaned back against the chair, and downed a glass of liquor to compose myself. We're already broken up. and I have no plans of getting back together. Good. Ben opened 2 more bottles. I've been wanting to tell you for a while. He even contacted me before and basically said he wanted to. I get it, I cut him off. That's just disgusting. My stomach started to churn. Thank God. This time around, I'd only been with him for 2 months. I never touched him. But thinking about my past life made me want to bash my head against the sofa. Take it easy, Ben said, stopping me. Vent, but don't overdo it. The music in the bar was deafening, but it couldn't drown out the chaos in my head. For no reason at all, I thought of Evan. So I called him. He picked up so fast, it was like he was waiting by the phone. I stayed quiet on purpose, just drinking. He listened to the noise on my end for a long time before finally asking, uncertainly, Leo? His voice had a unique, cool quality to it. I never realized how good my name sounded when he said it. I'm drunk. Beside me, Ben paused, a strange look on his face. The person on the other end of the line sounded a little nervous. Can I come pick you up? I sent him the address and hung up. Ben said, I thought you were here drinking yourself to death over Felix's betrayal, but it turns out you're just reeling someone in. I have no idea what you're talking about. So what's he like? Ben asked. He's a good boy, I said. That's what you used to say about Felix. My mind went blank. Was I? No, he's not the type who fakes it. He's a little dorky. His name is Evan. It's a really cute name. Oh, Ben said. It took Evan half an hour to find me at the booth. Since I was already pretending to be drunk, I might as well commit. He carefully helped me up, draping my arm over his shoulder, so I didn't see the look he gave Ben as we left. Ben told me later that even in the bar's flashy lights, his gaze was ice cold, like he wanted to eat someone. He probably misunderstood. Evan is such a good boy. How could he be fierce to anyone? The cold air outside sobered me up a bit. I leaned on Evan's shoulder and asked, Can you drive? He nodded. Yeah. The keys are in my pocket, I said. He very carefully reached into my coat pocket, trying to avoid touching me. When he saw the logo on the key fob, he said, I've never driven a car this expensive. Don't worry, there's insurance for a reason. He carefully helped me into the passenger seat and buckled my seatbelt. I rubbed my forehead, pretending to have a headache. I'm not going back to the dorm tonight. He nodded and didn't ask where we were going, just started driving down a familiar road. Of course, he even knew where my off-campus place was. The person in the rearview mirror had no intention of talking to me. I watched him for a while only to see his neck slowly turn red. TSK, who's the one who's been drinking here? The alcohol started to hit for real, and my acting turned into reality. I reclined my seat and closed my eyes, pretending to nap. I was aware when the car stopped. Evan called my name very softly. I didn't answer. Then, a warm breath slowly drew closer, stopping right beside my cheek. The distance was too close, so close I could feel his breathing. I opened my eyes without warning. The startled look on Evan's face delighted me, so I pressed him. You want to kiss me? He denied it. I didn't want to kiss you, I just wanted to see if you... We were so close. I could see his eyelashes so long, so curly. He didn't dare to look at me, so I asked again, so you don't want to kiss me? Evan was caught. Admitting it was bad, but denying it was worse. Do you want to or not? I demanded, needing an answer. I do. Then kiss me. His eyelashes trembled with nervousness. Just as his lips were about to touch mine, I leaned back and dodged him. Evan was stunned. I'm sorry, he whispered. I ignored him, leaned in, and brushed my lips against his cheek. A fleeting touch. He raised his hand to touch the spot I just kissed. A look of pure disbelief on his face. I laughed at him. Why are your eyes so wide? Get out of the car. Evan obeyed, fumbling with his seatbelt as he scrambled out to open my door, completely dazed. You should get some rest. I'm heading back. HM? He placed the car keys on the entryway cabinet and said he was leaving, but his feet didn't move. He was probably waiting for me to say goodbye, like I would give him what he wanted. I leaned against the wall, putting on an act. My head's killing me again. Can you go boil some water for me? Okay, right away. Only then did Evan venture further inside. I snapped a picture of his back in the kitchen and sent it to Ben. He's so domestic. Ben had never been so harsh with me before. He replied, drop dead. For now, I'll let it slide. He's just a single guy who doesn't have a partner. Evan brought the lemon tea he'd prepared to me. He didn't say a word more than necessary, just, I checked the temperature. It's good to drink. I leaned back on the sofa, tilted my head up, and raised an eyebrow. Is this how you usually woo people? Huh? I said, are you always this aloof when you're trying to win someone over? Shouldn't you at least say a few nice things, sweet-talk them a bit? His dark lashes lowered. I'm not very good at making people like me. I've never pursued anyone before. Sorry. So dumb. It's like teaching a block of wood. You had plenty of nerve when you were picking up my things. Didn't you? Sit here. I patted the spot next to me, and he obediently sat down. Feed me. Evan's hand trembled as he held the spoon. I grabbed it. What are you shaking for? My peripheral vision caught a certain erect area, and I suddenly froze, quickly pulling my hand back. Why are you getting excited over a sip of tea? When I looked up again, I saw the way he was looking at me had completely changed, like his eyes had hooks. Evan watched me with intense focus. Leo, you're so beautiful. I thought I was immune to that kind of talk, but hearing it come so bluntly from Evan, I was the one who couldn't handle it. Damn it. Who said he wasn't good at charming people? Seeing me silent for a long moment, he thought he'd said the wrong thing and upset me. He forced himself to look away and put down the bowl. Sorry, I'm bothering you. I'll leave now. Evan, I said, grabbing him. You can't get a cab from here. I can walk a bit and then bike back, he said. It's 30 kilometers from here to the school. How long would that take him? My house is big enough for two. He fell silent again. Come here and help me up. I fell back into the spacious bed, deliberately pulling Evan down with me. He scrambled frantically to get up. I reached up and touched the corner of his mouth. You should smile more. Having delivered my line, I got up. You can sleep in the room next door. There are clothes of mine in the closet, where whatever. Before he could react, I grabbed a towel and, right in front of him, stripped off my clothes and walked into the bathroom. Just before I closed the door, I saw Evan, seemingly turned to stone. His eyes were glued to me as he blinked mechanically. So pathetic. He's like this just from seeing my back. I don't know when Evan woke up. He was wearing my clothes, which made his back look straight and strong. That t-shirt was one I had worn before. He ignored the brand new clothes on one side and specifically chose the one that had my scent on it. His little intentions were practically spilling out. On the table were glistening shrimp dumplings and fragrant osmanthus steamed cakes. I wasn't surprised that he knew my preferences. What I wanted to ask was, how long did it take you to make all this? The dumplings and cakes were freshly steamed, and the ingredients must have been bought at the morning market. The car keys on the entryway cabinet hadn't moved an inch. It was obvious he had walked. Why didn't you take the car? I was afraid of waking you, Evan said. Afraid of waking me, so he walked 4 kilometers round trip, just to make me breakfast? It didn't take long. Cook fast. Who cares how fast he cooks? I rephrased the question. What time did you get up? Evan answered honestly, 5. It was almost 8 now. Sit down. You don't have to do this next time. Evan looked at me and said very seriously, you said I had to woo you. I don't know how else to be good to you, so I can only do it in the ways I can think of. Can you always woo me like this? I put a shrimp dumpling in his bowl. I'm very high maintenance. I like consistency. If your kindness starts to fade, I'll get upset. I can. Evan promised me if you like it, I can do this forever. I'll only be better to you than I am now. Okay. Just that one syllable was enough to please him. Is there anything else? He looked at me. The clothes, can I wear them? Mine are in the wash, they're not dry yet. Sure. Worried about a repeat of this morning, I swapped my supercar for the Volkswagen, which Evan picked out himself from the garage. I wanted to give him the keys, and while he didn't refuse them, he only drove the car when he was picking me up. I used to skip class all the time to go joyriding, but now I'd found a new hobby. Attending classes with Evan. His family wasn't well off, and the annual scholarship was a huge part of his income. But in my past life, during the selection process, he was reported over the cigarette butt incident. The school, citing damage to its reputation, revoked his scholarship. I don't know how he got by back then. I just remember seeing him before graduation, looking gaunt and skeletal, as if life had completely worn him down. I felt a pang of pity and had HR send him a job interview invitation for my company, but he never showed up. Evan doesn't look at his phone in class, so I wrote him a note. "Dinner tonight?" He wrote back, "Can't tonight, I have something to do, but I can pick you up later." Evan always let me know his plans. Since he wasn't saying what it was, there must be a reason, so I didn't press him. He passed me another note. "Are you bored?" I wrote, "Yes." Not wanting to distract him, I added, "You focus on your work." When he passed the note back again, there was a white chocolate on it. This brand was pretty expensive. Evan would definitely never buy it for himself. "For you. Don't be upset. He's so cute when he tries to cheer someone up." I wrote back, "I'm not upset." After a thought, I drew a smiley face on it. I rarely stay in the dorm, but I came back tonight and ran into someone unexpected. Felix was sitting in Evan's chair, and his eyes lit up when he saw me. I asked my roommate who let him in. My roommate looked clueless. He said he was your boyfriend. Dude, seriously? What's between your ears? You just let in anyone who claims to be my boyfriend? You come with me. I closed the balcony door and asked Felix, "What is it?" Felix looked completely stunned. "Babe, why aren't you answering my calls?" "Why else?" "Because I blocked him, obviously. I didn't really want to break up with you. I was just throwing a tantrum. It was my fault this time." He tried to grab my hand, but I dodged him. "Stay away from me." Felix looked hurt, his expression pitiful. "Babe, don't you like me anymore?" Given what he did, the fact that I haven't thrown him off the balcony is a testament to my mercy. Not wanting to get tangled up with him, I just named a certain bar. "That was you, right?" His face instantly darkened. Once exposed, he didn't even bother to hide it and shot back, "And what about you? Haven't you done things to wrong me?" Felix pulled a few receipts and photos out of his pocket. Suddenly, memories flooded back. All of those things were related to me. If I hadn't come here today, I would have never known someone was so deeply in love with my boyfriend that they even saved his receipts. So he found Evan's things after all. Do my roommates already know? Have you no shame, Felix? I'm usually all smiles, so he was stunned when I cursed him out. Go ahead. Spread rumors that I was the one who cheated on you. I pulled up the video Ben sent me on my phone and showed it to him. We were together for 2 months and I probably sent you around 50,000, right? Forget the gifts. You have 1 week to pay me back. For every day you're late, I'll sue you. For defamation too. Seeing my firm stance, his confidence withered, and he tried to soften up. Babe, you can't do this. Get out. Felix left the dorm in tears. I glanced at Evan's messy desk, went to tidy it up for him and asked my roommate, "You guys know about Evan?" They both nodded. We saw it by accident. I put the photos back in a book in his drawer. So you know, just keep your mouth shut about it. I was okay with it. My roommate laughed to break the tension. Dude, you can trust us, right? You better. I finished tidying his desk before leaving. The memory of crashing through the guardrail had left its mark. I started valuing my life and didn't dare to be a speed demon anymore. Without the thrill, life lost half its fun. My only option was to go bother Ben. I had just ordered a drink when a message from Evan came in. Have you eaten? Can I come find you? I shot up from my seat and tossed a line at Ben. You drink by yourself. Ben, are you crazy? I grabbed my jacket. Enjoy yourself, Mr. Moneybags. Everything's on my tab tonight. I picked Evan up at the school gate. From a distance, I almost didn't recognize him. He'd gotten a haircut, a 3/7 part that showed off his forehead, and he looked incredibly handsome. Standing under the lights in a black hoodie, his posture was perfect. When the car stopped, he smiled at me. Damn, he was hot enough to make my knees weak. I decided to play along. Hey, handsome, can I get your number? He replied, Can I just go with you directly? It wasn't until he got in the car that I noticed the distinct scratches on his neck. The skin was broken. My gaze made him try to cover it with his hand, which only made it more obvious. Are you going to tell me what happened? Or do I have to force it out of you? I turned off the engine. I had all the time in the world to wait. A few nasty thoughts flashed through my mind, but I pushed them away. I trusted Evan wouldn't betray me. Are you angry? Evan, don't change the subject. He thought for a long time before deciding what to say, not daring to look me in the eye. Can you not get back together with him? Who? I touched his neck, piecing it together from his words. Did Felix do this? Evan looked down. I ran into him when I was getting my hair cut. I never planned to get in the way. If you hadn't broken up with him, I wouldn't have bothered you. Are you out of your mind? My chest ached with anger. Why didn't you fight back when he hit you? You just let him hit you? Felix is the one who wronged me, not you who wronged him. I floored the gas pedal, changed our destination, and took Evan to the hospital. Who knew if that guy's claws were poisonous? My anger still hadn't subsided even after his wound was treated. If you let anyone bully you again, don't even think about coming to see me. I walked away quickly, and Evan scurried after me. Leo, it won't happen again. Don't be angry. Is that the only thing you know how to say to calm someone down? He glanced around, then made a beeline for a gourmet fruit shop. Wait here. Evan came back with a bag of fruit. There's only a wonton place nearby. I put some groceries in the fridge yesterday. Can I make you dinner when we get back? That was Chef Evan's go-to move, and damn it, I couldn't refuse. Buying expensive stuff again. Are you planning on starving for the rest of the month? He drove while I flipped over the price tag to look. Evan said, no, I started working on a project with my professor this month. Pays. That's amazing, I praised him. He blushed. I'll work hard. Good. Evan's knife skills were excellent. Watching him cook was a pleasure. He was afraid I was hungry, so he even cut up a fruit platter for me first, stuck a fork in it, and told me to munch on it. Watching him work the wok, I couldn't help but ask, Evan, is there anything you can't do? Huh? I used to help out at banquets. You pick things up. It was only then that I belatedly realized. In my past life, it wasn't that Evan was ostracized, it was that he didn't care what others thought. A person like him, if he had a higher social standing, would be extremely well liked. The table was filled with all my favorite dishes. I took a picture and sent it to my parents, who were abroad, then went to open a bottle of wine. I had originally planned to take Evan to the observatory. I'd even bought flowers, but Felix's drama made us miss the best time for stargazing. I'd have to find another time to confess properly. With no friends around tonight, I drank a little too much. Feeling dizzy, I grabbed Evan's collar. I didn't say anything, just stared at his lips. Evan's lips were beautifully shaped. Pinned by me, he could only brace himself against the back of the chair, pleading, Leo, you're drunk. I ignored him and leaned in closer. Just as our lips were about to touch, I pulled my old trick and started to pull away. But this time, he didn't let me. He pressed a hand to the back of my head and followed me. When he broke through my lips, my eyes flew open, and I sobered up by half. Evan closed his eyes, his long lashes trembling. He was completely lost in the kiss. I retreated, and he advanced until we were both lost together. When he pulled back, his eyes had changed. Evan stared at me like he was sizing up a delicious meal. Do you mind? He asks after he's already done it. Before I could answer, he kissed me again. Oh my God, he's this aggressive? Who taught him this? We stumbled onto the sofa in an embrace. I only came to my senses when our clothes started disappearing. This was way too wild. I knew he couldn't hold back anymore. Neither could I. After the kiss, Evan's eyelids drooped. His voice was hoarse enough to start a fire, but he was still trying to hold back. No, we can't. We don't have anything. Oh, I do. He watched, dumbfounded, as I pulled a bag of bottles and jars, along with some square packages, from under the coffee table and tossed them beside him. I'd bought them after he came to my place for the first time and had that reaction. After all, it's not like I'm a saint. I came back in this life for him. What's wrong with being a little shameless? Something feels off. Evan's lost control. This wasn't supposed to happen. Wasn't I supposed to be on top? How is he so strong? Stop biting me. Are you a dog? I was broken. After being gay for over 20 years, I ended up as the bottom on my first time. Evan came to dress me. I tried to kick him out of frustration, but he caught my foot and then leaned down to kiss it. His dark lashes hid the possessiveness in his eyes. Couldn't look. What a pervert. Are you angry? I gritted my teeth. You've been hiding this side of you pretty well, huh, Evan? I wasn't hiding it. The online guide said being on top is more tiring, so I figured I should do it. He said it so seriously, he almost convinced himself. Didn't he? Then let me do it next time. I don't mind being tired. Evan's refusal was swift. No, I wasn't really angry, just feeling defeated and wanting to throw a fit. But when I woke up, my world came crashing down again. The bar tab notification had been sent to me. My balance was down by tens of thousands. I messaged Ben. Did you buy the whole bar or something? Ben was unapologetic. Nah, just treated everyone to a round to share in your good fortune. Fine, I'm rich. I won't hold it against him. Evan spent a week trying to win me over, but I still didn't make things official. Half of Felix's refund came in. For the other half, he tried to flirt his way out of paying. I wasn't falling for that anymore. 25 grand, not a penny less. And Evan's medical bills, transfer that to me too. Felix exploded. Leo, do you have to be so cruel? We dated after all. Don't you have any feelings left for what we had? I had already been more than merciful. Although many things wouldn't happen again in my past life, he literally had me killed. If I don't see the payment tomorrow, I'll see you in court. I wasn't afraid of him trying to take me down with him. This time around, he'd only managed to get a little money out of me. Compared to the astronomical sums from before, it wasn't worth the risk for him. Besides, I was prepared. If he really got desperate, I'd crush him before he could even make a move. I do what I say I'll do. Felix didn't dare to actually cross me. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to scrape together $25,000 to pay me back. Plus the $300 for Evan's wound care. Leo, you'll get what's coming to you. My conscience is clear. I've never wronged anyone. Karma? I'm not afraid of it. I deleted all his contact information. As long as Felix stays out of my sight, our debts from this life are settled. Evan refused to move into my villa, so he rented an apartment off campus. I often went over to his place to fool around, but I still wouldn't give him the title of boyfriend. Evan didn't get annoyed. He'd rush back after class every day to cook for me, and he'd fed me so well I'd gained a few pounds. One ordinary day, I ordered a bouquet of hydrangeas for Evan, planning for him to bring them up when he took out the trash. But 20 minutes passed and he didn't come back. When I called, he picked up, and I could hear he was out of breath. What's wrong? Evan? Nothing, I'll be right back. I ran downstairs in my slippers. From a distance, I saw Evan with a dark expression on his face, his arm grabbed by a middle-aged man. When Evan saw me, he instinctively tried to pull me behind him. I grabbed his hand and pulled him behind me instead, shielding him. So this is your little boy toy? Huh? The man sneered. Watch your mouth, Evan said. The man spoke with a thick country accent. You're living so well, why won't you give your brother money? I've already given you enough. We agreed on $60,000. I asked Evan, honey, do you owe him money? The person behind me shook his head. No, you go back upstairs first, I'll be up in a bit. If he didn't, that made things easier. Are you blackmailing him? I narrowed my eyes. The man looked down his nose at me. You look like a little sissy. Bet you make more money than Evan. Business must be good. Huh? Evan swung a punch. What the hell did you just say? Hey, Evan, honey, calm down. I could barely hold him back. Evan was still trembling with anger after hitting the man. I helped calm him down and started to lead him away. He pointed at the other man and warned, I'll send you the money and the medical fees. Don't bother me again. Back at the apartment, I grabbed Evan's hands. Tell me, this guy must have been harassing Evan for a while. For the past few days, my would-be boyfriend had been sneaking off to meet someone. In my past life, I paid so little attention to Evan that I had no idea he was dealing with this kind of trouble. Evan opened his mouth and gave me the short version. The man was his adoptive brother. He was a gambling addict and frequently demanded money from Evan under the guise of filial support. Evan was adopted by the man's family as a child, and this so-called brother used to abuse him. Things like swapping out the food his adoptive parents left for him, forcing him to fight dogs for scraps, and tying him up in the cowshed for fun. His adoptive parents were old and couldn't control their unfilial son. After they both passed away, Evan, out of a sense of gratitude for being raised by them, worked under-the-table jobs while going to school to pay off the man's gambling debts. They had agreed on $60,000 to cut ties, but after he stopped paying, the man tracked him down again. Evan turned to me. "Leo, can you lend me $200,000? I stroked his head. "You don't have to say lend with your boyfriend. I'll pay you back soon." He's stubborn, so I let him be. If he wants to pay it back, fine. The hydrangeas downstairs had been ruined and thrown in the trash. They were a lost cause. I thought about ordering a new bouquet. "Leo, did you just make it official for me?" He snatched my phone and pounced on me, looking at me like a puppy. "Yeah. Boyfriend," he called me. "What?" Evan suddenly buried his face in my shoulder. "I love this. You big dummy." Evan gave the man the $200,000, but it wasn't a free gift. He set up a situation where the gambling addict ended up $1 million in debt and is now being chased by loan sharks, hiding all over the place. He'll probably be missing a few limbs in a couple of days. I pinched Evan's cheeks, which had finally filled out a bit. "You're pretty devious, aren't you? He insulted you." Evan grabbed my hand, kissing it over and over again to appease me. "He did all that to you and you never thought of revenge. But he says one bad thing about me and you don't give him a way out? Yeah. No one gets to bully you." I made a silent suggestion. "So, can I be on top tonight?" Evan nodded, and my eyes lit up. I even did my homework. But that night, that damn kid, he let me be on top. But how was he still inside me? 3 years later, Evan is in his second year of grad school. But the projects he's working on are already earning him a good income. They say loving someone is like nurturing a flower, and I see it's true. Evan practically glows now. His personality is no longer withdrawn, and whenever he's at the research institute, people greet him with a respectful Mr. Chun. The number of people who like him keeps growing, but aside from necessary experiments, he never takes off his ring. Every day when he comes home, he even makes me bite his neck to leave a mark. He's not great with romantic words, but he's incredibly clingy and utterly lovable. Evan's little habit never went away. Every time we eat out, the bill I touched ends up in his pocket the next second. He doesn't smoke, but he still loves picking up my cigarette butts. To cure him of this, I once held a cigarette in my mouth and forced him to share it with me, threatening, "If you pick one up again, you're sleeping on the sofa." He choked on it once and learned his lesson. Now he collects the cups I've used. Whatever, he's a lost cause. If it makes the kid happy, let him be. Evan doesn't carry any money on him. He never even looks at the money he earns. His cards are all with me. He'd be lucky to scrape together $100 on his person. He won't take an allowance from me either, only money for groceries. He says a lifetime is long, and he wants to spend all of it doting on his husband. All right. If he's going to be this obedient, I guess I'll be his husband. It's been 7 years since we got married abroad. At a party with Ben, I saw Felix. He was working as a waiter at the bar, his face caked with thick foundation. Maybe he recognized me too. He bumped into a customer in a daze, got slapped across the face, and then the manager apologized to the customer before dragging Felix away for a brutal scolding. Evan peeled an orange, broke off a segment, and held it to my lips. "What are you looking at?" "Nothing, just watching the show." The person on the other end of the line was my best friend Ben, who was wailing. My boyfriend, the one I just got back together with, is giving me the cold shoulder. Couldn't help it. "What did you do now?" "Nothing." Ben was exasperated. "Can you two see that there are other people here?" I asked, "What's wrong?" "Your boyfriend, didn't you win him back?" Ben said, "He's back, but he's not as clingy as he used to be." I patted his shoulder comfortingly. "Keep trying. You both have bright futures ahead of you." Evan asked, "What should I make tomorrow?" "Spicy chicken hot pot?" Evan nodded. "Okay, I'll order the ingredients." I turned to Ben. Bring your boyfriend over. We can eat together. Okay. I looked at Evan next to me, ordering on his phone, and felt incredibly lucky in this life. I was about to kiss him when I realized he'd somehow stuffed the orange peel in his pocket. Whoa, babe, you're collecting trash again. It's not trash, he argued, leaning in to kiss me. You're the one who ate the fruit. It's not trash.